welcome to the Four Birdies podcast. It is Sunday morning, October 22nd. We're going to get into the Week 7 preview, aren't we here, Dave?
Sure thing.
Good stuff. We have guests on in the show. We're going to bring on Sean later today. Jeremiah is leaving for Germany today, and if we can get some behind-the-scenes footage of him trying to get to the airplane on time, we will. But that's not really here or there. How you feeling today? Just overall, like in a fantasy football perspective, how you feeling?
I'm excited. See how my teams do, see how my players play, and there's some big exciting news for as far as like injuries and injured reserve designations for a few key players that kind of took me by surprise. One is Kyron Williams going to the IR now. So I had said on the last episode that ankle injury might be a little bit more serious than they let on. It appears to be so. He's going to miss the next 4 games at least. So that's going to be a backfield situation to monitor going forward. I think for today, Royce Freeman will probably get the majority of touches. Maybe Zach Evans a few here and there. And they signed Darrell Henderson to the active roster the other day. It's hard to imagine he's going to step right in and get meaningful touches. He hasn't played in the NFL in quite a while, so I don't know what kind of game shape he's going to be in. But I did pick him up in my Dynasty League for $1, and he's stashed away on my bench. Hopefully he has a decent performance next couple weeks. Maybe I could use him. And then another surprising injured reserve designation is Pat Freiermuth. He's been hurt for a while, but he wasn't on IR. He just had a successful practice the other day, and now he must have had a setback because he's going to be missing the next 4 weeks. So that's kind of a disappointment for him. This has been a very down year for the Steelers offense, and Freiermuth is just looking to be a lost year for him.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Sorry to hear that, Freiermuth. A good, strong German name. Ich mag das, aber das ist eine Schade, as the Germans would say. That is a shame. Anybody else? You got any more injuries to update us with here, Dave?
Deebo Samuel is definitely out. Christian McCaffrey is looking like a game-time decision. So that's a risky proposition there, given that he's playing on Monday night. But if there's any chance that he is going to play, you can't sit him. So I think it's worth the risk to have him in the lineup at this point. He's trending towards probably a go. Even on a snap count, you can't sit somebody like that.
Cyrus is not on the injured reserve. Cyrus is actually playing Super Mario Wonder, a game we just got. It just came out on October 20th. If you haven't seen it yet, it's basically Super Mario's reimagined. It is freaking cool. So a little plug for something we're not sponsored by, but...
And is that for the Switch then?
That's for the Switch, yeah. Yeah, it's a cool one. Like, you get this Wonder Seed, and then there's like a magical flower that you get. I think he's like basically tripping, and then he's like seeing everything in like different like perspectives. Like the sunflowers are talking to him at different points. It's somebody who is very imaginative created this game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's appropriate for like what kind of age range of kids?
0 to 100, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun for the whole family. I'll check it out.
Exactly.
It's called Super Mario.
I think it's just Wonder. I think it's Super Mario Wonder.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good one. Okay, moving on. Any more injuries that we need to know about here, Dave?
Justin Fields is out. Tyson Bagent is going to start in his place. And so that matchup between the Bears and the Raiders is going to be Bagent and Brian Hoyer. So probably not a super exciting offensive showdown there, but I'm kind of curious to see what Tyson Bagent is going to do. He went undrafted. Apparently he was a stud in high school, didn't get any offers for college, but we'll see what he's made out of. I would imagine they're going to simplify the game script for him. Maybe we're going to see some Dante Foreman get some decent action, but I don't have high hopes for the game. I'm just hoping that it's not just a terrible slow offensive matchup, but I think it will be.
Yeah, it does not look very appealing. All right. Okay, well, that's a pretty good update there, Dave. Anybody else that you need to fill us in on?
Let me me see here. I think it kind of covers it. Your boy Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be back.
That's right. It looks like Gibbs is going to be taking up a lot of those carries. And with Craig Reynolds, it looks like Reynolds might be banged up a little bit. I think the Lions had to bring up Mo Ibrahim from the practice squad. He's a running back from the University of Minnesota. He was looking pretty good in the preseason, but then got hurt, and they had to put him on some kind of like injury designation. So he's still with them. It looks like he may see some touches today, but Gibbs it looks like he's gonna pick up a bunch of the touches. So I'm excited to see how that goes. All right, Dave, you got anybody else that you want to update us on here?
This might affect other people besides just me. I've got DK Metcalf in the league. That's tough because he's playing around 4 o'clock. So your options get a little bit more limited as you get later on in the game slate. They're saying it looks like a game time decision. That always makes me nervous, somebody like that. So if you've got a backup option for him, I would say it's a coin flip.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else on the injuries and actives here, Dave, that we should be aware of?
Those are the key ones, I think, that I noticed.
Yeah.
As far as being like on track to play, one player that concerns me is Aaron Jones. Just dealing with any player dealing with a hamstring injury scares me. So I would look at other options. If you had him, this is going to be one of his first games back in a while, dealing with this nagging injury. Jeff Wilson's supposed to play today. We'll see how that Miami Dolphins backfield. I'd be hesitant to start Aaron Jones. And then Jeff Wilson, if you've got no other options, you can give him a shot. But it's really hard to say how many touches are going to give him. So I would imagine this is still Raheem Mostert's backfield.
All right. Okay, well, thanks for those updates there, Dave. We're going to bring in Sean in a minute or so. But I want to ask you, did you see that Michigan State apologized for the Hitler image on the video board? Did you see that, Dave?
I didn't know anything about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until I woke up this morning and I checked ESPN. Apparently, Michigan State issued an apology Saturday night after an image of Adolf Hitler was displayed on the video board before the Spartans' home game against Michigan. The image appeared as part of a trivia question about Hitler's place of birth. Michigan State later issued a statement on the video board saying the school uses a third party for the content and will no longer be using that party. The funny thing is that no other quizzes were displayed on the video board during the game. That was the only question.
That was the first and only. I think after that one, they were like, you know what, we're done.
Yeah. Who was next? Stalin?
I wonder what would be the relevance or point of that trivia question. Like, there's millions of trivia questions you could come up with.
I mean, what the hell is going on? That's insane. Why? What would possess anybody to put an image of Hitler up there, let alone anything? There's no like further comment that needs to be made. What would possess anybody to put Hitler up on a scoreboard?
Speaking
I don't know.
Of scoreboard. What was the final score of that game?
It was 49-0. Michigan won. Yeah. Yep. So that's a little beat down. I grew up a Michigan State fan, but my twin brother and uncle went to Michigan. My mom and older brother went to Michigan State, so I grew up in a house divided. And hey, Dave, we went to Albion, so we root for those small market teams. All right. Were there any things that you saw, Dave? There is something else I saw. I saw Cole Becker was the kicker for the Utah Utes, and he kicked a game-winning field goal to beat USC. That had to make me feel good. That made all Beckers around the world feel good. So that made my night last night. You know what also made my night was beating Sean and Sky Joe. Sean, I went over to his apartment and I promptly beat him several times. And then as I came over to hang and linger for a little bit longer, after I saw Cole Becker make the field goal, he told me he didn't want me there any longer and he was serious. So
speaking of Sean, if he could join us at
let's see if he's around.
So his matchup this week's a tough one.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully he can pull out a win eventually.
Okay, let me see where he's at. Give me just a second here. And we're rolling. Sean is back. The people's tight end is here with us in the studio. Sean, how you doing there, buddy?
I am good. Getting ready to go play some disc golf.
How you doing after that Sky Joe defeat last night?
That that never happened.
You didn't want me there any longer. You kicked me out.
It was getting late last night. It's pushing midnight.
That's true.
Several cocktails in.
Hey, Sean, Alex made it seem like you kicked him out because he was beating you. Was it really just because it was late?
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah, I got a little late.
It's funny, Alex, that in your mind you're thinking he's upset that, he lost in a game of chance, but really he just had to go to bed.
We all had to go to bed.
I had to go to bed. Still trying to get lucky. And had to call it quits.
Okay.
Can we do some last-minute sit-starts with Sean?
Yeah, okay, so Sean was trying to get lucky, and Dave, you want to do some last-minute sit-starts with Sean, huh? Let's take a look.
Yeah, Sean, let me ask you here. No prep, okay? Just right off the top of your
Shoot from
head.
the hip.
Yep. Rashad White against the Falcons or Alexander Madison against the 49ers. Who would you start?
That's a no-brainer. Rashad White against the Falcons.
Is it just because Madison's playing against the 49ers?
Yes.
That is correct. And he's going to
course
get
it
punched in the mouth. That guy's going to get punched in the mouth. You're going to have
All right,
a
so
pissed-off
you're a little
49ers
biased.
team.
We're talking like this is going to be a deep league type situation, but Jaden Reed or Jalen Hyatt?
Jalen Reed or Jaden Hyatt?
Jaden Reed or Jalen Hyatt?
Who are they playing against?
We're digging deep here. Jaden Reed's playing Denver, and Jalen Hyatt is up against Washington.
Jalen Reed, for sure. Washington's got they've got a decent defensive line. And real quick, back to the 49ers. Okay, not a single team in the last 2 seasons has ran for over 100 yards on them. Okay, and then last week, Cleveland just pulls a bunny out of a hat and just everything. It was a perfect storm for them. Everything worked for them. So I think Rashad White is definitely the choice there, and Madison's going to get punched in the mouth. What else you got for me?
I got one more for you. So DK Metcalf is playing at 4:05. He's questionable, looking like a game time decision.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So
I have
DK
him in my
Metcalf
other
against
league.
Arizona, questionable game time decision, or Curtis Samuel at the Giants at 1:00. So who would you start there?
Curtis Samuel against the Giants. Gosh, I really want Metcalf to play because I have him in one of my other leagues as well, and he's a force. Arizona, they're a scrappy team, though. That's a tough call. I want Metcalf to play.
Injury aside, it's a no-brainer DK Metcalf all day. So Curtis Samuel has ripped off like 3 or 4 great games in a row. But
So he might be the safe pick there.
It brings me to a tip for somebody new to fantasy football, somebody like Alex's mom.
Wait, why is it always got to be my mom? Can't it be Sean's mom, Kelly?
No.
I haven't met Sean's mom. I don't know.
Come on,
But
she's
the
a
tip for
sweetheart.
Your mom, Alex, is never sit your studs.
Never.
That's a matchup-dependent statement. Injury-wise, I would say DK Metcalf is a stud, but being that he's a game-time decision, this might be a time to sit DK Metcalf. But in general, never sit your studs. There's a reason you draft them in the first round, and in general, you're just going to plug them in and forget it. Keep them in all the time.
When's the other matchup? What time? Is it a 1:00 game or 4:00 game?
Yeah, Curtis Samuel's playing at 1:00.
Ooh, so you got to make a decision here within the next hour.
Can I get in here for a second, Sean? I just want to get off the cuff. You're 0-6. How's that feel?
Let's say it just doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel great, and I just love talking about it too.
I bet you
You were
do.
playing against Harold this week, Bangkok Ladyboys. He's number 1 overall.
Oh, I
and
am.
You're in last place, so it's just quite the matchup disparity here.
Actually,
Yeah.
I've got a little video that we're going to turn it over to right now, just showing Harold talk about that matchup for the week. So just check this out. We'll be right back. What do you say to Sean, who you're playing this week?
That guy's 0-6. Oh my God, what a joke. Ha 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 ha. What a loser.
So how would you react to that?
I would say that you have every right to be scared, Harold. You're probably having nightmares the past week because you knew you were going against the morning chubster also known as the People's Tight End.
Yeah, the man with a million names. Yeah. Here for Jimmy, a.k.a.
Yeah, we have nothing to lose, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's a long season.
Okay, let's look at your team really quickly. Now that Tua's been put on the IR, what would you do for your quarterback situation?
You're such a liar.
No, he hasn't. Okay, so one of your shining bright spots here is you've got Tua, then you've got Devontae Smith.
My best player.
Yeah, you've got Cortland Sutton, which has got to be a tough one, right? With Russell Wilson looking like a shell of himself, that's got to be a tough one.
And Breece Hall on the bench. Well, actually, because there's no game this week for the New York Jets. So
yeah.
I'm just, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been very active. I'm still not giving up. I still want to be a tough out every week.
Good for
and
you.
At least have the opposing team give me their best shot, which isn't very hard to do because the talent is. I sent you a trade, by the way, David. You didn't even respond to my text.
Oh, wow.
Rude.
The commissioner
See,
doesn't
I'm
even
trying.
respond. You're trying.
No, I told you that wouldn't do it for me. I can't throw
What was it? Can you give it?
Okay,
Shed a little light on this.
Just so everyone can see here, he'd be trading me Tua and Kareem Hunt for Brock Purdy and Jonathan Taylor. I guess there's no way.
What are you talking about?
So I would have a marginal upgrade at quarterback.
See,
But
okay.
I'd be losing out huge on running back. So I can't do it.
Dave, last week you were trying to trade Tua straight up for Purdy, or you were trying to get.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad trade, especially for a guy that says he loves the 49ers. I don't
Sure,
understand
I
why he
do,
wouldn't
but
want-
you've
got Ayuk.
I can't let emotions
I'd
take
give you
over
running back,
a
but
business
not Jonathan
decision.
Taylor. That's
There you
crazy.
go. I like where your head's at, Sean.
And Jonathan Taylor has proven nothing yet this year, so
I'd give
it's
you,
a
I'd
risk
give you
reward.
Jalen Warren, you could start him today.
Okay, so give us the recap. What's this
And
trade?
Brock Purdy.
So Warren and Purdy for Tua and Taylor? No.
No, I would do. He'd give me Tua and Hunt, and I'd give him Jalen Warren and Brock Purdy.
Here's the thing, Sean.
The guy that's just
You'd be able to
warming your
start
bench
Jalen
right now.
Warren right now.
Here's the thing, Sean. So Dave's kind of he's a feisty cat when it comes to this fantasy football thing. So I think every trade he proposes, you're going to be on the short side.
Oh yeah, I know.
Right?
See,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I do.
Now, he gave me a trade last week, which was why I did pull the trigger. That was Rashad White for Purdy. And I think that was a good one because I needed some help in the running back room. But, I think that was, he was
I
throwing
agree
me a
with that.
bone. He
Yeah.
was throwing me a bone there, which is appreciated. Now, you've got to, finish this out. You've got Ayuk, who's always putting up some good numbers. McLaughlin, the McLaughlin group.
Let me ask here. Do you want to keep Hunt? Because you can keep Hunt. I don't need him. I would take Elijah Mitchell. I would take Jeff Wilson. It could be just any other running back. It's really just, for me, it's a quarterback swap. I really like having Tua for the stack with Waddle.
Of course you do. Well, listen, I want Purdy
You'd
as
have
well,
you'd have
but you
Purdy
got to
and
give me
Ayuk
something
stack.
else. Yeah, I need a light at the end of the tunnel here. I'm drowning.
Give the man a freaking lifesaver.
I need someone. Okay, I did propose. What was the? Oh, you rejected the trade. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't give up. Jonathan Taylor's not a throw-in kind of guy.
he's not.
No. You know it. Look at you playing dumb. Sean's actually a good actor, isn't he? He's a good actor.
Okay,
Tua and Elijah Mitchell.
how about E-Man? Right, Elijah Mitchell, Wilson for Taylor, and we also throw in the quarterbacks. So you get a 2-for-1 deal, so to speak.
Well, that wouldn't help because I'd have to drop somebody.
Drop someone that you're not using and you don't give a shit about.
Well, here's the thing. I'm never going to start Elijah Mitchell. It's
Oh,
just
you're
not
not?
going to happen. He's not even going to start. He wouldn't even start.
Does his mom
he
have
could
him?
start Monday night.
Does his mom play him in her league?
Probably not.
And if Christian McCaffrey misses some time, you're going to have someone for the next 2 weeks.
I offered you Ty J. Spears too, but as far as this week, I would even give you Warren. I'd give you Warren and Purdy for Tua straight up. You don't have to give me Elijah Mitchell. You don't have to give me Hunt. You don't have to give me Jeff Wilson.
Okay, so what is Warren's workload like then? Is he their
Look
lead
at his
back?
last couple of weeks. He's putting up double-digit points. You need points now.
Oh.
Hunt's battling an injury.
He is putting up some points. Look at that.
He's got something, a little chink in the armor. He's hurt. I don't see anything. Warren, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, Hunt's
Hunt.
battling an injury.
Can I just say, I think my team's looking a lot better than it was. I've got Hurts, Pickens, Rashee Rice. That's the one guy who, I don't know, but I've got Garrett Wilson on the bench. And then I've got some Rashad White, some Jahmyr Gibbs, Darren Waller, and Najee Harris. I'm feeling a lot better than it was like 2 weeks ago. I've got a little help from my friends, so I think my team's going to do okay. If I can pull past the porta potties this week and kill him, then I might have a chance to like go on a little run because Wilson's on the bench right now. I've got Kyler Murray, who I just picked up. He was on somebody had released Kyler, I believe, and now he's on the PUP. He's on my IR. So I'm hoping I could bring him in for Hurts on his bye week. Hurts' bye week is week 10. And then I've got Cleveland's defense against Indianapolis, who Sean told me not to pick up last week against the Niners. It would have done better than my New Orleans pickup. But that Cleveland defense, I still can't believe I got it. Now, are their numbers translating to fantasy? No, not as well as I would have hoped at this point, but let's hope that starts happening. So let's go. Let's go.
Sean, I sent you the trade.
Yeah, nobody cares about my team. Yeah.
Purdy and Warren.
No, that
nobody
was
cares.
great speech.
Purdy and Warren for Tua. You're thinking about it.
Purdy and Warren for Tua? Oh, he wants Tua bad. I'm telling you.
I know it.
How many points has Tua been putting up week by week?
If you say no,
What about
I'll
Eckler?
be okay. Yeah, let me just throw Eckler in.
Okay.
All right, I'll trade you Eckler for Brees Hall.
Bro, don't give up Tua. He's
are in a position right now. You need to win this matchup for sure.
Dude, bro.
So,
Tua's the second
win
ranked
against Harold.
I mean, I think he's the number one quarterback right now in the league.
He's number two. He's number two.
two?
I think Josh Allen's number one. I do believe. I would not get rid of Tua.
Are you guys pumped for this game tonight, though?
Wait.
Miami versus Philly.
Bro.
In Philly? Are you kidding me? It's a huge game. Yeah.
Bro, come on. America's Game of the Week is coming up in 10 minutes.
No,
Let's go!
No.
Lions, Baltimore, let's go!
If not the Niners, and let's say by some crazy 1 in a million chance the Lions, this could be a Super Bowl preview.
Yeah. This will be a good one. Okay, let's see. We've got about 10 minutes till kickoff here, and we got to have this podcast wrapped up by then. So if any deals are going to happen, they got to be made now because we got a couple more tips for the mom. We got a Dear Commissioner segment we got to get to. We've got a lot more jam-packed in this episode. So what's going to happen here, gents? Is there going to be a trade made or what?
Taylor.
Balls in Sean's court, and again, I don't need to make this trade. I'm okay. I've got Trevor Lawrence. I've got Sam Howell.
Says the guy who has Purdy starting for him.
I've got Purdy.
Yeah, you don't have to make this trade.
This guy's good too.
Dave, you're good. Dave, he's gonna win an Emmy at the end of this one. He's gonna win an Oscar or whatever the hell.
I'm just saying, Jalen
whole
Warren,
EGOT.
people sleep on him. He's a producer. He wouldn't produce on my team because I got better people starting, but he would produce on Sean's team. He'd be an every week starter for Sean.
Who are you talking about? Waddle or Warren?
Jalen Warren.
Okay. What do you think, Al?
Okay, tell me this again.
Well, it's Jalen Allen, Jalen Warren.
See, that's easy. It's easy to confuse these names. Jalen,
Yeah,
Jaden. Okay, Jalen, Warren, and who? Dave, give us the recap.
Tua.
Give us the recap of the trade once more.
Jalen Warren and Brock Purdy, his boy Brock Purdy, who's been great this year so far, said one bad game for Tua. So he's getting a serviceable quarterback on his favorite team. I bet he has a Brock Purdy jersey too. And he's getting Jalen Warren, who he can start right now against Harold.
You know, I'm not saying one thing or another, but I would say that Purdy's not doing so great. So
I want Trevor Lawrence as well.
you know what? Shit, I think I'm
Trevor
wrong.
Lawrence instead of Purdy.
You know, I might be wrong here.
You don't need two quarterbacks.
Sure.
What's the average? Okay, look at this. So Purdy.
I would do that. I would give you Purdy, Lawrence, and Warren for Tua, but you'd have to give me somebody else.
I know. I've got that would be Oh boy, week 9 is going to be a tough one for me on the bye week. At that point, I'll have, if I were to accept the trade, I would have 3 49ers and a couple Denver players out, but no matter.
Okay, so basically here it is, Sean. The aggregate score for Purdy's going to put up about 20-some points a week. He's going to put up about 22, 23 points a week, it looks like. Tua, his first week, he put up 43 points. Week 3, put up 38, but then he's kind of fluctuated. It looks like he's going to put up around 26 to 27 points per week. So if you're getting a serviceable player in Warren, it's not a terrible trade. Now, I guess what we're saying here is Purdy's ceiling is not going to be as high as Tua, but Purdy's floor is not going to be very low. So that's not a bad trade.
However, we're going to be missing Debo for the next 2 weeks.
You got some
at
weapons,
least.
though.
Yeah.
You got some weapons.
Yeah. Well, good thing we had the bye in 2
We
weeks.
got 8 minutes to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So moving on to tough decisions, Christian McCaffrey is trending towards playing. Sean, in what world would you bench Christian McCaffrey?
Never.
So he's in the starting lineup, even though he is the 8 o'clock Monday night game.
Yeah. No, it's a very tough call. He might be on a snap count. They might try running him for 10 plays, see how it goes. This is probably going to be another game time decision.
Yeah.
I think in both leagues I have Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason on my bench. Sitting there, maybe plug and play, because those guys are going to get the share of the load. It's a tough one. He's his best player in fantasy. Last week was a tough one.
We're going to now move on to the next segment of the show. It's called Dear Mr. Commissioner. You might be familiar with this one at this point, or maybe not if you're new to the show. This is a segment where Dave is talking about things that should clearly be done in the NFL to make it less confusing. Dave, where did this come from?
So this is a long-running inside joke between me and my college roommates, Steve and Josh, and they're great football minds, and I'm an inquisitive person in general. So I would always bring up these hypotheticals to them to get their reaction, and they always said, "Hey, that's a good question. Why don't you write a letter to Roger Goodell?" So that's where that came from.
Nice, and he'll be sifting through these letters, I'm sure. All right, well, let's jump right into that, and we'll see you on the other side.
Dear Mr. Commissioner, why do they call it football if the field is measured in yards? Shouldn't they call it yard ball instead? Anyway, I have to get ready for school. Bye-bye.
Dave, that's incredibly insightful. Always coming in with the hard hitters. What do you think about that? Why don't they call it yard ball? Is this prison? I guess it's not prison, right?
Yeah, it's not prison.
Yeah, it's not prison. I think it's already taken, Dave. I think prisons were established first before football. Yard ball was already taken, so they had to go to football.
Nice
Fair
ring
enough.
to it.
I think it's still a question worth asking.
Yeah, no, they're all really deep. I think they're really deep questions and really get the brain juices flowing there.
Roger Goodell will have made $700 million in his career
Yeah.
as the commissioner, and I think these are the hard-hitting questions that he should be prepared to answer given how much he's compensated.
That's insane. So you just sent me he signed a 3-year extension, and like you said, his career earnings are going to be over 700. Think about that. By the end of it, he'll probably have earned over $1 billion.
I know, in general, people don't like Roger Goodell, but his goal is to grow the brand, and I think they've done a great job with that.
Well,
so he catches a lot of flack, and it's one of those things you can't make everyone happy. He gets booed every time he presents at the draft. I don't think there's anything he can do to change people's perception of him. I think I can't think of a scandal lately that's annoyed me with him.
he's kind of like Trump, isn't he? He really couldn't do too much to have the people turn against him, or half the people. Think about that though. What was it, about 10 to 15 years ago, when all the concussions, all that, the CTE, all that was coming out. And I mean, people were talking about, oh, football is going to be done with. And I was one time I was in the car with Howie Long. I'm going to name drop here, but I was in a car with Howie Long. I was taking him to the airport after a film shoot, and I'm a big NBA fan, and I said, NBA is gonna, it's gonna be the number one sport. It's gonna be the number one global sport. This, that, the other. And he kind of laughed at me, and he's like, "What are you talking about, son? Like, NFL is the sport. It's always going to be the sport." And the Lions weren't doing so well, so I just wasn't as on top of everything at that point. And now that the Lions are doing real well, then I'm 100% more plugged in than I was. Not a fair weather fan, of course, but it's just hard to watch teams that suck. Anyway. I just kind of thought to myself, you know what the NBA is? It's catching up on the NFL, but no, I mean, you still look at those numbers. I don't think the NBA is ever going to eclipse the NFL in just sheer popularity. So, Howie Long, you were right. I was wrong.
Here's my thoughts on that. The health of the NFL could be affected in 15 or 20 years if more parents start deciding, I don't want my kid to get involved in football. It is going to reduce the funnel. It's going to choke out the funnel. There's fewer kids in the system that can move on to college and to the NFL. And so the other thing that could hurt the NFL is if the rules start prohibiting all sorts of different hits, fans are going to stop tuning in. So one thing I noticed is that what are defensive players supposed to do when it comes to breaking up a play? They're getting flagged for it left and right. How are they supposed to do their job?
I think that's a great point, and that was a great question last week against San Francisco and Cleveland. That was like the game really hinged on that. I think, hey, let's put a pin on that because I think that's a great topic to carry over to the next episode. It's 12:58. If any trades are going to happen, they have to happen now. Let's go. What's going to happen here?
I accepted.
He accepted him. Let's go. He accepted him. Let's go.
No way he did. Let me see.
Let's go. You did 12:59. You better accept that, baby Dave. You better accept it right now. This man is crazy. He's off the hook. He's unhinged. The Lions game's going to start in just a minute. I got to turn this baby off. I got to get plugged into the Matrix.
Accepted.
Let's go!
Dude, you owe me, brother.
Damn.
I think now you might have the best roster.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Dave just,
It's a win-win. I get two, which I've wanted him for a while. And speaking of concussions, let's not jinx ourselves here.
Yeah.
And you got Brock Purdy and Jalen Warren, so congratulations on accepting the trade.
I looked at it
feel
because
good.
I have two receivers with Ayuk now and George Kittle, so I'm hoping for some triple or double stacking, what have you. So
like two chicks at the same time?
Hmm?
Two chicks at the same time? Okay, we got to go. We got to wrap this baby up. We will be back. This is only part one for this episode. We're going to be back with some more of the aftermath of what happens this weekend. So good luck to your teams, except if you are the Baltimore Ravens, of course, or the Minnesota Vikings. So let's go. Let's get this. Let's go. Game time, baby. Let's go. It's Sunday. Okay, we'll catch you in a little bit. The Ravens are holding the Lions every freaking time. It is war! It is war! You're going down, Ravens! You're going down! You're going down, Ravens! You're going down, Ravens! It's war!
We're currently getting our asses handed to us right now. It is, last time I checked, it was 21-0 Baltimore with about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, something like that. The Lions secondary is getting totally exposed. They're holding the front four every single time. Hutch is getting held every single time. They called one penalty, and it wasn't even on a hold on Hutch. And we're just getting totally fucking whooped on right now. I hope the Lions were going to win. Of course, I hope they were going to win. I thought this is going to be a tough game going into Baltimore. They're a good team, and they've got a good defense. And Lamar is he was an MVP player. So they're going to be a good team. And, I just thought it's going to be a good game. We're going to put up a fight. And if we lose by a touchdown, if we lose by 3, then it is what it is. But we're getting exposed. My prediction of 21-14, 21-7 is now, unless something miraculous has happened and Lions now from here on out they don't allow a single more point from the Ravens. Well, I predicted the Lions were going to get 21 points anyway. So the Ravens have already put up more points than I predicted. It was a stupid estimation. It was a stupid prediction in the first place, I guess. So who knows? 2020 hindsight. So what do you do? But good God, let me check what the score is now. So I just checked the score, and now it's 28-0. The Ravens are fucking whooping the Lions right now. They're mopping them. I don't know if I've been this frustrated from a game in a long time. I just started, after they lose enough, you just start to like disassociate from the team, and you don't affiliate yourself with them on like a Sunday basis, maybe on like a month to month, on a year to year. You're still a Lions fan at heart, but you can't just watch your team get whooped on every single week and be the laughing stock of the league. And then, they're good. They're finally have a good team, and they're coming out and having a great season so far. And to just get their asses handed to them by the Ravens, 28-0. Like, what the fuck is going on? I turned it off. I couldn't even watch it. The disassociation has begun once again, and I need to enjoy my life for what it is. And disassociate from being a Lions fan today, apparently. And I have to hope that my fantasy team is going to win, and that's all I can really hope for at this point, that the fantasy team's going to win, and that's what I'm going to hang my hat on for today. And what else? I don't care if any other team wins or loses at this point. I'm not going to go down as like a sore fan, especially if we're just getting our asses handed to us. So, oh, come on. Oh my gosh, how freaking disgusting. Our secondary is getting so exposed. Our offense, they're not putting up any points. We haven't put up a single point. I know Baltimore's defense is good, but what happened? I thought we were supposed to be a good offense. I thought we were going to put up points. I mean, if one team can put up that many points compared to another team in the first half, theoretically, the same thing can happen in the second half, and the losing team can score all those points, but I don't see that happening. Definitely don't see that happening today. Oh my God. So I thought I would check back in because I'm a masochist, and it was 3rd and 6, and we actually had the ball, and it was still 0-28. And 3rd and 6, beautiful. And then I was on ESPN just checking the live updates, and then turned to 4th and 8. So I guess we're going to punt it. I don't know if we're going to score any points. I guess I'll have to watch the second half. I just, knowing that like an act of God would have to happen to prevent the Lions from losing, let alone just making it respectable. So I should tune back in. I'm going to go back and put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm the coach. Maybe if Campbell goes in there, then he'll wreck some skulls. That's probably our only hope at this point. If we can just suit Campbell up, maybe as linebacker, probably not tight end at this point because he's got to wreck some fools. We'll line him up across from Hutch. So then we'll have Campbell and Hutch on the D line, and then we don't have to trade for like Max Crosby or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna do something that I probably should avoid and tune back in. So wish me luck.
Guess I gotta go over to Sean's and admit defeat, Lions defeat. It'll be kind of shameful. Here we go. I'll just pretend like I didn't watch the game or something. Oh, hey Cassie, what's going on? How you doing? Is Sean home?
He's putting the baby to bed.
Oh, he's putting the baby to bed. Oh, okay. Well, I feel like I've got to come over and talk to him and, have him rub it in, the Lions defeat. And
yeah, he's been waiting for this moment.
Yeah,
so.
I just want to get it over with.
Yeah, if you come back in 5.
Also wanted to mention that you're not doing so well in the fantasy football league.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing better than you, though, so.
Well, standings-wise or today?
Standings.
Yeah, well, just watch out because I'm going to put up about 170 points today, so.
Okay. We'll see.
Okay, well, Sean wasn't home the first time, so I'm going to go back over there, and now I'm going to pretend like I didn't even watch the game because that's going to make it a lot easier, so. Connie, how's it going?
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
How are you?
great?
Yes.
Why so great?
Come on in.
Yeah. So, yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking about you and I was like, I know you guys aren't Lions fans, but I'll tell you what, my buddy Alex is going nuts right now. And then
I don't know what you mean. I didn't even watch the game. I
I
don't
was
even know
like,
what game you're talking
oh
about.
man, I am gonna get him good. I
Yeah.
am gonna rip him up. But the loss speaks for itself.
Yeah, that was
I didn't
rough.
see it. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad nobody was there.
I want to say, welcome to the NFL.
Welcome to the
That's
NFL's right, yeah.
Dude.
God, how embarrassing. They scored, I think they scored in the first 4 drives, touchdowns. It was 28-0.
As the Niners played, everything that happened to them, still lost to a field goal. That
Yeah.
fucking hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw this in your face.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. You know, I got to hand it to Sean. I went over there totally expecting him to rub it in my face after that blowout Lions loss. But, man, he razzed me a little bit, but, you know, not as bad as it could have been. So take the punishment, take the beatings, and then move on to the next week. We'll see. Go Lions. Gotta keep the faith. One pride. Let's go.